In this today's lecture, we are going to see about the speed control of three-phase induction motor. So compared to the speed control of DC machines, the induction motor speed control is not as much as good. Why? Because in DC machines, the wide range of speed control is applicable. Here, the normal operating range of a typical induction motor speed is around less than 5% slip, and the speed variation is more or less proportional to the load. Okay, so that the formula to find out the speed n, which is equal to 1 minus s into ns, so that the speed is proportional to the slip and the synchronous speed. And one more thing, the rotor copper loss is equal to the slip into the total power of the machine. If the slip is made higher, then automatically my rotor copper loss will be as high as. So that there are two basic methods to control the speed of the three-phase induction motor. The first one is varying the synchronous speed, and the next one is varying the slip. So in synchronous speed, so we know the formula ns is equal to 120f divided by p. So again, in order to vary the synchronous speed, maybe we vary the frequency or we vary the poles of the machine. So that is the formula given. So that here the slip is varied, or it can be controlled, can be accomplished either by varying the rotor resistance or terminal voltage of the motor. Okay, so here the first one is we should control the speed of the induction motor by varying the pole changing method. So here there are two major approaches is present. The first one is method of consequent poles, and the next one is multiple stator windings. In the method of consequent poles, so from the diagram you see that it relies on the fact that number of poles in the stator windings can easily changed by a factor 2:1 with simple changes in the coil connections. Now you consider if it is a two-pole stator winding for a pole changing, for this machine the rotor pitch is very small. So now you consider this is a diagram, and I take as a per phase connection to explain the concept of pole changing one. So there are two coils are connected. So here these are the connections. So like that these two coils are connected in such a manner. So now the current is flow through this terminal and levered through this terminal, so that it produces a magnetic field which leaves the upper part of the stator and it will enter into the lower part of the stator, so that here it produces the north pole and here it produces the south pole. Okay, so now what I do means just I change the connection here. Just you see the compare these two diagram. So if I change the connections, then what will occur here? So here the magnetic flux will leaving from the upper part of the stator, and similarly here also the flux is leaving. That means it is leaving from the lower part also, so that two north poles are created and consequently two south poles are created in this direction. So in the previous connection only now only one north pole and one south pole is exist. Here two north pole and two south poles is exist. Okay, so that is explained here. Now if the direction of current flow in the lower phase group is reversed, then automatically the magnetic field leave the stator in both upper phase group and the lower phase group, so that it produces the north pole in both the cases. Okay, so that it producing a pair of consequent and south magnetic poles, which is twice as many as before. In previous case we see that it is only one, here it is 2 times. Okay, so here we use the squirrel cage induction motor. It is only applicable for squirrel cage induction motor. Why? Because my rotor is always aligned with the number of poles present in the stator. So here the slip ring induction motor is not used. Okay, so when the motor is reconnected from 2 pole to 4 pole, the resulting maximum torque is same. It is only applicable for the constant torque connection. Suppose if I go for a constant power connection, then the torque is reduced to its half of the original value. So that it depends on how the stator windings are rearranged. Okay, so now, so there are the possible connections of stator coils in a pole changing motor together with resulting in torque speed characteristics. I'm already told there are two connection is there. The first one is constant torque connection. The next one is constant power connection. Here I explain it's constant HP. That's all. The third one is fan torque connection. So in constant torque connection, so you note it down. My torque is always constant. The only thing the power should be varied. Okay, and similarly, in constant power connection, the power capabilities of motor remain approximately constant in both high speed and low speed connection. Okay, for the fan torque connection, the torque capability of the motor is depends upon the speed and it is proportional to the square of the speed. Okay, so that these are the possible connections of stator coils in a pole changing motor. The first diagram A is used for constant torque connection, the next connection is used for constant power connection, and third one is fan torque connection. So if in order to control the speed from low to high, so we given, so which coil is connected to which terminal. So like that we connected, then the speed is controlled from lowest value to the highest value. Okay, so then this is the corresponding characteristics, speed torque characteristics of these three types of connections. The next method of speed control, and this method has some major disadvantages. So what are they? Here the speed must be in the ratio of 2:1 only. Okay, and the traditional method to overcome this limitation is to employ the multiple stator windings with different number of poles and to energize one set at a time. For example, consider a motor may one with 4 pole and a set of 6 pole stator windings. Then its synchronous speed at 60 Hz system would be switched from 1800 to 1200 rpm per minute when we go for 6 pole and 4 pole. If it is a 4 pole means it is 1800, if it is a 6 pole means it is 1200. But however, whenever we go for this multiple stator windings, it increases the cost of the machine. So that we use this type of machines wherever we need the necessity in order to control the speed. Okay, so that the combining method of the consequent poles with multiple stator windings, a 4-speed motor can be developed. For example, with separate 4 and 6 pole windings, it is possible to produce a 60 Hz motor capable of running 600, 900, 1200 and 1800 rpm. Here these two methods are combined and the speed is varied like this. Okay, so then the next method of speed control is changing the line frequency. We know that normally the line frequency is held constant. So in India it is around 50 Hz. If I change the electrical frequency, then automatically my synchronous speed of the machine is changed. We know that the formula is ns, which is equal to 120f divided by p. If I varying this frequency, automatically my synchronous speed of the machine is also varying. So now changing the electrical frequency would also require an adjustment to the terminal voltage in order to maintain the same amount of flux level in the machine core. So we know that we already studied about the hysteresis losses and eddy current losses. So whenever my frequency is increased, automatically the core saturation is exist. So in order to maintain the flux value as constant, we should maintain the voltage and frequency ratio is constant. So only we go for V by F method control. Suppose we could not maintain this flux constant for the particular machine, then the corresponding machine will experience a core saturation, so that it produces some nonlinear effects on the machine, and also it has some excessive magnetizing currents, so that the losses would increase very high. Okay, so a varying frequency with or without adjustment to the terminal voltage may give two different effects. The first one, if I vary the frequency and also I vary the stator voltage also, that means I adjusted the stator voltage, so it is generally vary the speed and maintain the operating torque. Suppose if I vary the frequency and I maintain the stator voltage for a particular value, then in this case I able to achieve the higher speeds. But only thing is there is a reduction of a torque as speed is increased. Okay, so there may be instance where both characteristics are needed in the motor operation. Hence, this effects to be combined. Okay, so nowadays, with the arrival of solid state drives or power electronics, the line frequency is easily controlled with the help of those devices, and it is very flexible, so that the speed of the three-phase induction motor is effectively controlled. So nowadays, in major applications, this speed control using this solid state drives is employed. For example, I'm already told that in DC machines only the speed control is very effective. So in consider in a train in olden days we use DC series motor for its large starting torque capacity, and the speed control is used there. But in the invention of power electronics, okay, the conventional DC series motors are replaced by induction motors, and the speed is easily controlled, and it can be employed for control of speed over a range of from 5% of the base speed. Just you see that. So in previous cases only 4 to 6 speeds is available, but whenever the invention of power electronics, which leads to the speed control from the base speed is around 5%, okay, to the twice the base speed, that means there is a the huge speed is controlled with the help of power electronics or solid state devices, so that nowadays major speed control is replaced by the three-phase induction motor with the help of these devices. Okay, so running below the base speed, the terminal voltage should be reduced linearly with decreasing the stator frequency. This process is called as derating, and it is failing to do that cause saturation and excessive magnetization current. Suppose if I reduce the frequency by 10% and I maintain the voltage as constant, then my flux is increased by 10 percentage. If my flux is increased, then automatically my magnetization current is also increased. Suppose when the voltage applied varied linearly with frequency below base speed, then flux remains constant, so that V by F is maintained constant, so that my flux is remain constant, so that the maximum torque remains fairly high. So therefore the maximum power rating of the motor must be decreased linearly. Okay, here the power supplied to the three-phase induction motor is nothing but root 3 VLIL cos theta. Should be decreased if the terminal voltage is decreased. Okay, so whenever we use variable frequency speed control, this is the corresponding graph which is attained. The first graph shows the family of torque speed characteristics curve for the speed below the base speed. So here I assuming the line voltage derated linearly with frequency. Derated means it is reduced. The next curve is the family of torque speed characteristics for the above rated speed. Here I assuming the line voltage is held constant. So these are two family of curves that represents the torque speed characteristics of variable frequency drives. Now the speed control by changing the line voltage. We know that the torque developed by the induction motor is proportional to the square of the applied voltage. If I varying the terminal voltage, it also vary the speed. Even though the speed is varied, automatically my operating torque is also varied when we vary the terminal voltage. In terms of the range of speed variation, it is not significant. Hence, this method is only suitable for small motors only. Okay. So this is the corresponding graph of the variable line voltage speed control method. And the last one is speed control by changing the rotor resistance. It is only applicable for slip ring induction motor. So in one rotor, it is possible to change the torque speed curve by inserting extra resistance in the rotor circuit. However, we insert this extra resistance in the rotor circuit, then it reduces the efficiency. Why? Because if I insert the resistance, automatically the power loss will be exist in the corresponding external resistance circuit, so that it reduces the efficiency. So that this method of speed control normally used for short period to avoid the low efficiency. So these are some different types of speed control of three-phase induction motor. Thank you.